From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, May the 21st, 2025. An Israeli soldier was killed during fighting against terror group Hamas in Gaza yesterday. The IDF said today that 20-year-old Staff Sergeant Danilo Mokanu was scanning a building in Khan Yunis for explosives when a bomb planted by terrorists went off and caused the building to collapse on him. A rocket was fired from Gaza today at southern Israel, sending residents in the area of the city of Ashkelon running for bomb shelters and safe rooms. The IDF said the Air Force intercepted one launch that crossed from the northern Gaza Strip towards Israeli territory. No casualties were reported. And the IDF eliminated a Hamas terrorist in Gaza today that infiltrated Israel and participated, it said, in the brutal October 7th massacre, saying over the past day, the IDF struck over 115 terror targets throughout Gaza from the ground, sea, and air. The IDF also eliminated 2 Hezbollah terrorists in airstrikes in Lebanon today, including a senior commander in the terror group. And the IDF is looking into an incident that took place today in Jenin, in Judea and Samaria, the West Bank, where foreign diplomats who were touring the area strayed into a prohibited zone. The IDF said the diplomatic delegation were given an approved route to follow, given their presence in an active combat zone, but deviated from the route and arrived in an area where it was prohibited. An IDF force in the area, not knowing who they were, fired a warning shot in the air. No one was hurt. Once it became clear that this was a diplomatic delegation, the IDF said it expressed regret, and officers immediately spoke with the representatives of the country and said they would update them on the findings of the investigation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu held a press conference this evening, his first in 5 months, about the war in Gaza and the hostages still held there, telling the press, "We will bring everyone back." The Times of Israel cited the prime minister, saying Israel has a very organized plan to achieve its war goals: to defeat Hamas, which carried out the atrocities of October the 7th, to bring back all of our hostages, and to ensure that Gaza does not present a threat to Israel. The goals are complementary, Netanyahu said, and we have to achieve them fully. And for the first time, the prime minister also reportedly mentioned carrying out the Trump plan of temporarily relocating Gazans out of the Strip. Netanyahu's office last night said the high-level members of Israel's negotiating team in Qatar were recalled, saying Israel has agreed to the American proposal for the return of the hostages, which is based on the Witkoff framework. This proposal was recently conveyed to Hamas via the mediators, even though it is continuing to cling to its refusal. After approximately 1 week of intensive contacts in Doha, the senior members of the negotiating team will return to Israel for consultations. The working echelon will at present remain in Doha. And the prime minister spoke over the phone today to Israel's representative to the Eurovision, Yuval Raphael, a survivor of the October 7th Hamas massacre at the Nova Music Festival, who came in second place in the International Song Contest, congratulating her for her stunning performance and her courage, telling Raphael she brought much honor and pride to our country. She thanked the prime minister, saying that was all she wanted, to bring as much honor as I could, she said, adding the most important thing is that our hostages will return home and be here with us. The prime minister responded, "We are working on this very hard, and you have added much strength." And released Israeli hostage Omer Neutra was honored this week in Boston. Neutra, who was held for 505 days in Hamas captivity in Gaza, threw out the first pitch on Jewish Heritage Night at Fenway Park Monday evening as the Red Sox faced the New York Mets. Neutra, who wore white sneakers with the words "Bring them home now" written on the side and a yellow ribbon for the hostages, received a standing ovation from the crowd. He told the Boston Herald afterwards that it was an honor and said, "My mission is to bring all the remaining hostages back home. So I will do whatever it takes. I will go and show myself with me wearing the ribbon. Anything I can do, I will do it. Anywhere I can be, I will be there. The 58 hostages who are still being held by Hamas in Gaza have now been captive for 593 days. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, May the 21st at 7 o'clock. JBS strategic analyst David Harris describes Yuval Raphael's recent triumph on behalf of the State of Israel at the Eurovision, as well as the newest betrayals of Israel, he says, by Western European nations. At 7:30, CNN's Bianna Golodryga speaks with the parents of Omer Neutra, American-Israeli IDF soldier murdered by Hamas on October the 7th. His remains still held captive in Gaza. At 8, Benjamin Anthony speaks to Ilay David, brother of hostage Evyatar David, to share his brother's harrowing experience and to call for renewed public urgency in demanding the hostages' release. At 9, Richard Haas is on L'chaim. At 10, it's the ILTV's Insider. At 10:30, an encore of the news. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, May the 21st, 2025. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.